Hey everybody, here's a quick video about whether or not Edgar Allan Poe is really that weird. Or has his weirdness been exaggerated maybe? Now first of all, some people think Edgar Allan Poe is weird because of the content of his writing. You know, stories were violent, his poetry was depressing. And I don't know, lots of poetry is depressing, but not all poets are weird, just maybe most of them. Compared to 20th century poets, Poe's poetry is kind of a laugh riot. And the violence in his stories? I mean, modern movies and TV shows are way more violent and have less emotional impact. No symbolism, little theme, and no big words to make you feel educated when you get through it all. Now, people who binge watch, crime shows nowadays, they're probably more deranged than someone who reads The Telltale Heart or The Cask of Amontillado or The Pit and the Pendulum. Anybody who writes for those shows is probably way more deranged than Edgar Allan Poe was, though I don't have any statistical proof to back that up. And they probably don't know it, or they're probably proud of it. Now, from what I understand, some of Poe's obscure stuff is really weird, but I don't know because I haven't read his obscure stuff. Maybe it's weird, but even if the obscure stuff is really weird and Poe is weird because of his obscure stuff, it's not the reason that people think Poe is weird, so it doesn't count. And if we think Poe is weird, but we haven't read the stuff that proves he's weird, then we have no business thinking he's weird. Even if Poe's writing wasn't weird, people think his lifestyle was. After all, he married his own cousin. Some people react to this by saying, ew, he married his cousin. Maybe the correct reaction would be, hey, at least he married her. A lot of men are, afraid of commitment. Now, back in the 1800s, it wasn't uncommon to marry a cousin. I mean, I wasn't around back then, but that's just what people say if you believe what people say about the 1800s. And I'm not defending it. I'm just saying from what people say, it wasn't that uncommon. In fact, our longest-serving U.S. president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, married his cousin Eleanor, and that was 80 years after Edgar Allan Poe. Eleanor Roosevelt might not have been 13 at the time, like Poe's cousin, and she might have been a fifth cousin once removed, whatever that means, but she was still FDR's cousin, and a cousin is a cousin. Now, Edgar Allan Poe died in a weird, mysterious way because of his drinking. Poe's probably an alcoholic. Back then, there were no 12-step programs for addiction. Oh, there might have been. I don't know. I wasn't back there. The 12-step programs that I know about were created way after Edgar Allan Poe. And if there were 12-step programs, they were so anonymous that nobody knew about them. I'm just speculating. Therefore, alcoholics couldn't get much help back then. Or at least they couldn't get as much help, or the help was different. Supposedly, Poe belonged to a support group for a while, but speculation is that it didn't work too well. And it might be sad that Poe died relatively young because of his drinking. The way that Poe died might have even been weird, but Edgar Allan Poe maybe wasn't weird just because he died in a maybe weird way. It was just that he died in a maybe weird way. A normal person could die in a maybe weird way. And even if Poe wasn't weird because of his writing or his alcoholic lifestyle, he might be considered weird because of his appearance. He looked sleepy. Maybe because he was drunk, or maybe he hadn't slept, or maybe he wasn't photogenic. And he had a Hitler mustache. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if Poe had a porn mustache or a Hitler mustache, but neither of them are good. Now, to be fair, people didn't stand in front of the mirror finding their perfect angles and expressions back then. Some accounts of that period claim that Poe is actually a nice-looking guy until his later years, but I haven't read those accounts myself, and I haven't seen many pictures. I mean, I've seen a couple pictures, but they're not in the pictures in the Poe books that I have, so I'm not sure if the pictures of the nicer Looking Poe are really of Poe. I mean, people can put anything on the internet. I'll defend Poe on the Hitler mustache, though. Poe wore a Hitler mustache before Adolf Hitler was even born, and I'm not sure what the Hitler mustache was called before Hitler grew one, but it was a popular look, I think, until Hitler ruined it. Now, you can't wear a Hitler mustache without people associating with Hitler. It's not Edgar Allan Poe's fault that he had a Hitler mustache before Hitler did. And just because I'm defending Poe's Hitler mustache doesn't mean I'm defending Hitler, right? I despise Hitler. It's possible, it's possible to defend the pre-Hitler Hitler mustache without defending Hitler. And I don't want anybody accusing me of defending Hitler just because I defended a guy who wore a Hitler mustache 100 years before Hitler committed a bunch of crimes against humanity. People get offended by the silliest things nowadays, and I don't want anybody offended just because they think I'm defending the Hitler mustache before Hitler was even born. And if it's a porn mustache instead of a Hitler mustache, the same basic argument applies. Now, getting off topic a little bit, Nowadays, people seem to take pride in being weird. I mean, that actor, Johnny Depp, he seems to have adopted the weird mannerisms of the weird characters he plays, and people used to find it charming until it got old, and now it just looks creepy. You know, the city of Austin, Texas, has a slogan, "Keep Austin weird." But I visited Austin, and I didn't think it was that weird, and even the places that were supposedly weird. I'm always suspicious of people, including cities, who call themselves weird. I mean, if you have to call yourself weird, you probably aren't. But maybe Edgar Allan Poe didn't care if anybody thought he was weird. All right, that's it. That's all I have. What do you think? Leave a comment below. And if you like this video or these kinds of topics, watch more videos, subscribe to my channel, or you can go to my blog, Dysfunctional Literacy, for more. All right, thanks for watching.